"Mind he don't see ya," she whispered. Eva took the pillowcase and nodded solemnly. If Dad knew what she was up to, it would earn her a belting. Not that she cared. She'd felt the buckle end of his belt on more than one occasion. The welts went down after a while, and all that remained was an empty feeling inside, which was worse than hunger. At least bread made her feel a bit better. Day-old bread from Godden and Hankin Bakery was a mainstay of their diet, and a cheap way for Mum to fill their rumbling bellies when the housekeeping was running short, which was most of the time these days. But Eva's father wouldn't tolerate her queuing up for handouts with the children from the thieves' kitchen of the 7 Dials like some common urchin. Eva was 8, nearly 9 in fact, so she was too young to go out to work, but she would have done if she could, just to help Mum. She was the youngest after Frank, but was more daring than any of her brothers and sisters. Kathleen would soon be 11, and she should really have made the trip, but liked her sleep too much to bother, same as her twin Jim. Peggy was 13 and would be leaving school in a year or so, but she was a goody two-shoes, Dad's favourite, and wouldn't dare do anything to risk his anger. The early mornings were making Eva tired, and she was prone to catching 40 winks in the afternoons during lessons. Her teacher at St. Patrick's had said as much when she met her mother on the Walworth Road last week. "Eva really does need to get to bed earlier, Mrs. Fraser." Eva hurried down their tiny street, each house with the same 2 stories of grimy bricks as the last, before turning left onto Waterloo Bridge. She knew the route by heart, up Bow Street, into Longacre, and over to Great Newport Street. Flower sellers in long skirts and straw hats, their woolen shawls pulled tightly around their shoulders, were already at their pitches. And the drunks from the night before were still lying in the gutter as Eva ran the last 100 yards to the bakery door. She was the last one there. A row of ragged children, some with dirty faces and no shoes, jostled in front of her, brandishing their pennies. Eva drew herself up to her full height and flicked imaginary dust off her pinafore as she looked down her nose at them. Yes, she was poor, but she was clean. Mum always made sure of that, even though Eva hated having her face wiped with a dishcloth before she left the house. The tin bath took pride of place in the scullery once a week, and she got her turn in it. She scratched her head. Knits again. Probably, but Mum would sort that out with a metal comb later. Eva winced at the thought of her hair being pulled and scraped. She sighed as she waited her turn, the penny in her hand growing sweaty. What if there was nothing left for her to take home? Dad had a good job as a wood sawyer down at the cricket bat factory, but with 5 of them to feed on wages of £2 a week, there just wasn't enough to go around. It was all their mother could do to keep shoes on their feet. Frankie's were full of holes, mainly because he was the youngest and got all the hand-me-downs. And that was before Mum got to paying out the insurances. Eva didn't fully understand what they were, but it was to do with the hospital and teeth and the like. Mum said, "Don't worry your head about it, chicken." But Eva did worry, especially when she saw her mother twisting her thin gold wedding band round and round her finger, and her eyes red-rinned from crying when all the money had run out by Wednesday. The insurances had seemed to go up after Frankie got run over by a lorry a couple of years back. Eva swallowed hard at the memory of it. She was supposed to be minding him while Mum went out to clean at one of the little hotels up by Waterloo Station to earn a few pennies more. She had another job in the mornings cleaning over at the Imperial Chemical Industries building, but that didn't pay enough. It had all happened so fast. They were playing in the streets with the other kids from Howley Terrace, larking about. Someone had a dog which had caught a rat, and they poked at the dead body a bit with some sticks and watched it ooze blood. "Massive teeth," said one boy. "Like your granddad," said Frankie, poking him in the ribs and making everyone hoot with laughter. Frankie got bored of it all in the end. Kathleen turned her nose up and went to go skipping with Doreen from a few doors down. Peggy had her head stuck in a book, as usual, and was sitting on the front step reading. Eva was only chatting to her pal Gladys for an instant about the new clothes her nanny...